here they come as the pace car heads to pit road. Green flag, 2 laps to go.
Rossi's close enough.
Looking, turn 1. He slides, there's contact. Wickens spins. Bourdais goes through. Sebastian Bourdais is leading with Graham Rahal behind him. Hinchcliffe inside of Rossi. And Wickens sits stalled in turn 1.
Unbelievable.
Yellow for Wickens' car.
Full course yellow, pits are closed.
Wow. The run for it. And when he went, he just went, I'm going. Kind of like Kanaan did at Indy and got away with it.
Checkered flag for Sebastian Bourdais.
These SPM cars struggling to hold off the fresh tires of all of the other cars on the lead lap. And can Hinchcliffe hang on for a top 6?
Newgarden has now checked out. He's got a 2-second lead. Wickens only has 0.2 of a second over Rossi. Rossi is all over the back.
1 to go for Joseph Newgarden. He's never been on the podium here, and he's less than a mile away from winning.
Scott Dixon now entering the fold. Dixon in 4th, but he's on fresh tires.
Rossi trying to get back-to-back podiums. What a night it's been under the lights here in Phoenix. With a late race restart, fresh tires, Joseph Newgarden wins in Phoenix for the first time in his career. Robert Wickens, at his first oval race, gets on the podium, and so too does Alexander Rossi.
Wow, that was close for 6. Who got it? Hinchcliffe over Carpenter by just a nose.
This time, he will lead the points for the first time, but Power's not giving up. 1 lap to go.
1 to go. Plenty of push to pass.
That's the voice of Rob Edwards, the strategist for Alexander Rossi at Andretti Autosport. What a weekend it has been for this man here.
And you know what I think speaks volumes about the IndyCar series, how competitive it is? As they run right now, you would have 5 different teams occupying the 5 top positions in the championship.
Fantastic.
We're in for a great season.
3rd different winner in as many races in 2018, with Sebastian Bourdais winning in St. Petersburg. Last weekend, Joseph Newgarden with that pass for the win with just 2 laps to go. And now a dominant performance from Alexander Rossi. The kid who grew up right here in California, left and went to Europe as a teenager, actually lived in the Czech Republic before going to Europe in the UK. And here he gets one of the best wins of his career in his home state. The Long Beach Grand Prix 2018 belongs to Alexander Rossi. What a win!
Winner. Good job, buddy.
You started out teaching English, right?
No, PE.
PE, excuse me, PE.
I wasn't a real teacher.
That was most definitely your old PE teacher coming out.
Yeah, yes or no answer. Let's move it along.
Nice and easy this lap.
Final lap coming up.
Down to 12 seconds from 20, so he's really backed the pace down. 23s, 1 minute 23s. The other guys, Hunter Ray, Hinchcliffe, are running 21, so he's really listened to Cindric and slowed this thing down and going to bring it home.
You know, we mentioned, I think it was yesterday, Paul, and even in qualifying, we said to young drivers, to go-karters, if you're aspiring to do something or be like someone, this guy is your perfect model, because he's got it all. He's got the charisma, he's got the speech, he's got the presentation, he's got the driving acumen. He's got it all, but it's been a long road, and he needs to thank Ed Carpenter, Sarah Fisher, Wink Hartman, everybody all the way along. I spoke to Ed Carpenter about it a couple of days ago, and he said, we've got a real sense of gratification and accomplishment in being able to nurture Joseph. And he said he remembers the day they went out to lunch, and Joseph said, I'm moving on. I've got an opportunity to go to Team Penske. And as a driver and as a team boss, Ed Carpenter said to him, if I was in your shoes, I would do exactly the same. There's no hard feelings. And you're watching somebody who is very special. Joseph Newgarden feels at home because his real home in Tennessee is not far away, and Joseph Newgarden wins the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama to just put a stamp on it and own this place. Dixon's not done with Bourdais yet.
Dixon is all over the back to come to the last couple corners. Dixon slices down the inside. He's going to have the outside line for the next corner.
Bourdais will have the advantage, though, in the last corner. There could be contact.
Two four-time champions.
Drag race.
Who's going to get it? To the line, it's going to be Bourdais.
Brilliant stuff.
Two four-time champions.
But yet also hasn't caught and passed the lap car in front of him of Charlie Kimball.
I don't think he has to.
So the white flag waves at Indianapolis over Will Power.
Keep your eyes on Will and see if he bobbles.
I think that was Mike Hull I heard saying run hard, message to Dixon if I heard that correctly, so it'll be interesting to see. Get up there, get close, so if Will Power has a bobble anywhere, you can take advantage.
Pretty good fight for 4th and 5th place in this last lap, as well as Rossi is trying to find a way to do something with Bourdais. Wickens is clear of them by a second, but there's the gap, 1st to 2nd. Does Will Power have enough fuel to get around to the checkered flag without Scott Dixon catching him?
His last lap, Alan, was 1 second slower than the lap before.
Final corners coming up here.
Textbook drive, guys. That is amazing. Great job for Will Power.
Fell behind at a point in the race, kept after it, came back around, and the checkered flag for the 3rd time in 5 years for Will Power in the IndyCar Grand Prix. Last box of career goals.
He's got one back marker to cut through.
And that box that you talk about, we mentioned earlier on the show, if you drive for Roger Penske, yes, you can win championships. As he's coming up for 1 lap to go, the white flag is flying, but you need to make sure that you win an Indianapolis 500 if you want to retain your job with Team Penske.
Clear by 40.
The lap car is Charlie Kimball. You hear the radio call, clear by 40 car lengths, 2 corners to go. Fans on their feet waving and cheering. He'll never be introduced the same way again. From now on, it'll be Will Power, Indianapolis 500 winner for 2018. Checkered flag, Power and Penske win it. Wins streak, his consecutive seasons with a win of 14 for Scott Dixon. In 1 more lap. White flag will be waiting for him at the start-finish line.
1 to go.
And we're in the final lap here at Belle Isle. Now 12 corners to go, gapping Hunter-Reay just a little bit more.
See him peeking in the mirrors, just going along the straightaway there, just finding the gap.
Isn't that something you do on a subway?
Yeah, that's what you do.
Look at how smooth he is.
The balance of the race car has been just tremendous.
Oh, he's got a good car today. His car is riding over the bumps as good as or better than any car on the track. And he's taking full advantage of it.
Hunter-Reay dumping out the rest of his push to pass here to see if it'll help him. But Dixon not using any of what he's got left, and he's still got over a half a minute left. Doesn't need it. A few more corners to go. Down to turn 11. And still wrestling the wheel. Accelerating these last couple of tricky corners, and a checkered flag for his victory, and a well-earned one here in Detroit. Scott Dixon wins the Detroit Grand Prix.
Good job, man. Yes, boys. Well done, well done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was awesome.
Coming up to see the white flag and start the final lap.
White flag, still plenty of pace between you and Will. Don't need to do anything with Hinch here.
A year ago, Graham Rahal had as good a weekend as you could have in this unique doubleheader weekend at Belle Isle. He won both races. Well, Ryan Hunter-Reay finished second yesterday and is on track to win today. Next best thing, I guess.
Think of how many times that Ryan Hunter-Reay has been unlucky here in this last year or so. Getting very close, and obviously close to Indy a couple more times too, but getting knocked out one time in the pit lane with his teammate. I mean, always competitive. Maybe not the most lucky guy that there has been, but certainly one of the most competitive.
The one constant with Hunter-Reay is that he does not know how to give up. And he's blindingly fast when you give him a car as he wants it.
Just a few more corners to go. Remember when he won the Indianapolis 500 4 years ago? He said he was just a proud Florida boy. The trip back to Fort Lauderdale tonight is going to be a happy one because he's going to have his first trophy since 2015. Checkered flag, 17th career win. Ryan Hunter-Reay does it in Detroit.
Ryan, awesome. Unbelievable, those two middle stints. Fastest lap by a second.
Hold it in there wide open. He's got to back off early and throttle it back in.
Well, he tried it once on that restart and about threw it away, so I'm sure he's a little bit gun-shy, especially now that the dust and the marbles will have built up as we see the white flag for Scott Dixon.
1.5 miles left, that is it. Meanwhile, this scrap for second goes on. And in less than a lap's time, Scott Dixon is going to have a very healthy championship lead. And he's going to win 2 of the last 3 races in the Verizon IndyCar Series. Under the lights, here in the Lone Star State, it's the Kiwi, Scott Dixon, who wins and takes the lead of this championship. And Simon Pagenaud, know we're a great team.
And I think Joseph Newgarden understood the significance here of pole position. And remember, he had pole at Texas, which gave him such a great pit stall position at the front of the line, the end of pit lane, nobody in front of him as we get the white flag. And so for Newgarden, that lap that he put in qualifying, Paul, was superior. I mean, he's such a tough as nails guy, was so bold with his move in the last corner to secure pole.
He's been so dominant all weekend, right from the green flag dropping in the first practice. But man, you got to be impressed with Scott Dixon. He has put in a drive today that is what you would call a championship drive, where you don't have the best car, you had a bit of a bad run in qualifying, and to bring your way through to the podium, as we look at him here going into turn 5 for the last time, this is what it takes. He knows exactly what it takes to win championships. He did this at the Indy Grand Prix all the way from the back, but this is an important day, I think, for Dixon for points.
Well, Joseph Newgarden gets to join proud Penske drivers, Will Power, Paul Tracy, Emerson Fittipaldi, Danny Sullivan, to have won at Road America for the captain. And that, even though drivers say, yeah, I don't look at records, etc., they do. And it means a lot, because when they do get a time to reflect, they're the kind of things that resonate the most. He won in Phoenix, and he won in Alabama at Barber Motorsports Park. And speaking of Barber Motorsports Park, that was the site of Joseph Newgarden's first IndyCar career win. This is going to be number 10. How about that? He's racked them up in very quick succession, but this track is a special place, and this drive was extra special. Joseph Newgarden wins the Kohler Grand Prix to get back in this championship chase.
Look at the gap that he put on Newgarden, on Hunter-Reay.
But it's been a head-scratch day for Dixon. It's been pretty frustrating. But if he maintains his position... Oh, what's happened to Ed Carpenter?
Come on.
Ed Carpenter got massively loose, might have brushed the wall. Let's hope
yellow
for James sense that they don't pull out a yellow, and it goes yellow. So we're going to have a shootout here, and it's going to be a tire shootout.
All right, amigo. You are coming to the white flag. I do believe by the rule that you will be the winner of the Iowa Corn. 200, 300.
Well, not the way you would want the race to end. We were going to hope for a shootout or just a straight finish, but this got confusing.
However, the day belongs to the mayor of Hinchtown, James Hinchcliffe, had the most gut-wrenching experience of his life this year, not making the 500, but he wins the Iowa Corn 300.
Excellent. That's exactly what we needed right now. Excellent work, buddy.
Marco's getting now, backing up. He's hanging on.
Oh,
He's
no.
going for the pits for some reason. Couldn't make the fuel mileage.
That doesn't make sense. His last
Okay,
stop
we're
was
gonna
on
flash.
lap 56.
Oh, no.
Splash of fuel.
That is a huge miscalculation because Dixon pitted on 55, Pagano on 56, Marco pitted on 56. He should have had fuel.
Going to fall outside the top 10 now, which would be a huge disappointment after such a great drive all day, but probably couldn't get all the fuel in it on a pit stop because everybody else made it no problem.
Imagine coming out of the pits and getting the white flag immediately. I wonder if they couldn't fill it on the last
Couldn't get it all
stop.
in, exactly. Meanwhile, everything's happened so fast today. We're on the last lap. We're coming to the checkered flag. This is Scott Dixon on a hot day in Toronto. The Iceman has prevailed and extends his championship lead substantially. Scott Dixon coming down the front straight, wins on the streets of Toronto for the third time.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
In this race, I want to pay credit to a former Formula One team owner and IndyCar team owner, a lovely man who passed away recently, Mo Nunn. Also Dave Mirage, Le Mans winning sports car team owner and ALMS sports car team owner, left us and passed away recently. And of course Sergio Marchionne, President and CEO of Ferrari, CEO of Fiat Chrysler. Really a lot of sadness in the racing world lately with some iconic figures. And our thoughts are with their respective families.
Ed Brown looking to get back on the lead lap.
Ed Brown or Ed Jones?
Or Ed Jones, sorry, looking to get back on the lead lap, and he does. Rossi easily lets him go by an extra lap. So Jones.
Rossi needs to soak this up. Look, round past the hill, all the fans. That's what it's about here at Mid-Ohio, grabbing a chair and a cooler and sitting on the hillside and watching some classic road racing at an amazing circuit. Qualifying on the pole yesterday meant so much to this guy. He doesn't show a lot of passion, but boy, did he yesterday, as Kevin told us earlier. And now, with his strategist, to win this in this such a dramatic way. How about that? Alexander Rossi!
Great job.
Victorious at Mid-Ohio at Long Beach earlier this year. Absolutely dominated all day long. And he is the most recent winner after that fabulous race at Mid-Ohio where we saw so much passing. That hasn't been the case today, but there's still been plenty to chew on. 1 lap to go, 2.5 miles. And that's the voice of Rob Edwards, the Chief Operating Officer of Andretti Autosport, oversees all of Andretti's racing operation and is the man in the ear of this guy here, Alexander Rossi.
Raindrops now finally coming onto the camera. We knew it was going to rain at some point, but what a day.
What a day. And he notches up another one at a different circuit, another victory at a different circuit. Alexander Rossi will spoil the Will Power three-peat, but he gets another win. Rossi wins in Pocono. His third win on the season.
You turn him loose.
I'm standing here trying to overhear the radio. There's a lot of conversation here on Alexander Rossi's stance. Of course, I don't want to interrupt that conversation, but they know that they may have to turn him loose to some degree, but run the risk of not making the line.
Huge move for Rossi to get by Sato. Rossi now should have clean air.
He's going to catch him at the last corner. If he can get by Sato, he might have a run to the line, but I don't think he's going to get it.
1 lap to go as Dixon tries to track down Rossi to pick up championship points and finish second. Will Power trying to keep his championship hopes alive. A splash of fuel is plenty for him. Will Power wins for the 3rd time in 2018 and keeps his championship hopes alive.
Good job, guys.
And Rossi hangs on for second in front of Scott Dixon. Big championship implications there.
Final lap. Sato not using push to pass. Still has 45 seconds. Here they go. It's going to go green light right here.
Flag, last lap, overtake all the way.
Last lap coming up, less than 2 miles. Has Hunter-Reay got something here for Sato? He's not close enough.
Really only has one more chance, Paul, which will be on the back straightaway.
Or into the tight hairpin if he can get close in the infield. 3 more corners from here, but Sato's car is on rails through this triple right.
Well, the other issue is these corners are fast enough to where the turbulent air is just too much for Hunter-Reay to get close.
You've got to remember earlier this weekend it was not a positive start for either Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan driver, Graham Rahal or Takuma Sato. The team felt like they were a little bit one step behind, but Sato said, we had a great weekend at Road America. If we can work it out, we can have a great weekend here as well. And he's just a few more corners away from victory, which would be his first permanent road course victory. An incredible result. He's made up 19 positions from his start. He's an Indy 500 winner. He's now a Portland winner. Takuma Sato wins on IndyCar's return to the Northwest. How about that? Phenomenal effort from the Japanese driver.
We're coming up on 1 to go, so if I was Hunter-Reay with the gap he has now, I wouldn't even try to fight with these guys. Just ride behind the back.
1 more lap of Sonoma Raceway. Just under 2.5 miles to complete the 2018 Verizon IndyCar Series season. One that has been memorable for so many reasons. In particular, this man, Scott Dixon, who has led for the last 8 rounds in a row. He's had 0 DNFs this season.
About 6 corners to go, and I'm sure Scott Dixon's looking in his mirror at a fiery Will Power thinking, don't you dare get anywhere near the back of my car.
Portland 2 weeks ago, major off in the second corner. He was in the dirt. That was the championship winning drive of the year, I feel, that really saved this championship for him. And today he's just kind of been in the driver's seat and controlled his own destiny and done what he's needed to do to win this championship.
So Ryan Hunter-Reay is on target to win the race. Scott Dixon is on the verge of something truly special and significant. This real family man, father of 2 girls, is in his 304th race today. But something that hasn't been done in 51 years since AJ Foyt did it, Scott Dixon is about to become a 5-time champion. Credit where credit's due. Ryan Hunter-Reay wins the Grand Prix of Sonoma, but we witness something that hasn't been done in more than half a century. Scott Dixon is a 5-time IndyCar champion.